From desolate villages and ghost towns to the home of the most famous vampire, today we look at strange abandoned places in Europe. Number 13. Monsanto Panorama. In the 1960s, a large, lavish restaurant at the center of a park in Lisbon, Portugal, offered locals an exclusive dining experience in a unique UFO-like building. Over the years, though, this circular structure has been left to deteriorate after failed attempts to use it as a nightclub, bingo hall, office, and warehouse. Today, it serves the public as a popular viewpoint, despite its decrepit condition and graffiti-laced walls. Visitors to the charming yet desolate monuments will be able to enjoy the former restaurant's unique architecture, gorgeous tile work from the artist Manuela Madurita, and the best 360-degree view of the city. Number 12. Spree Park. Spanning across almost 73 acres of land in the German capital of Berlin is the rundown skeleton of an amusement park. This park first opened in 1969 under the moniker Kulturpark Planterwald and was the only attraction of its kind in both East and Western Berlin at the time of its opening. In 1991, after the fall of the Berlin Wall and Germany's reunification, the amusement grounds were rechristened as Spree Park after the nearby Spree River. New owners took over the property and invested heavily in its success, adding new attractions and raising attendance numbers to 1.5 million people annually. However, in the years following this brief upswing in success, the park owners would become gradually encumbered in debt. To compensate, prices rose, but that led to a fall in attendance, and by 2002 the park closed indefinitely. After 9 years of weathering, the park opened briefly to guided tours of the vacant amusement park, but this stopped in 2014 once the property was purchased by the city of Berlin. A later fire that year destroyed much of the remaining Spree Park attractions, and today the half-burnt, crumbling structures loom eerily outside the public eye. Number 11. Chateau Miranda. First designed in 1866, the neo-Gothic Chateau Miranda didn't finish construction until 1907, where it acted as a home to the descendants of the Liederkirch-Debor family. Located in the Belgian town of Celles, it played a role as a combat location during the infamous Battle of the Bulge, when it was occupied by German soldiers. But following this occupation, the legendary castle came under the control of the National Railway Company of Belgium, and it was converted into an orphanage and children's camp, earning the name Chateau de Noisy. However, the upkeep on this great castle proved too great to maintain, and in 1991 it was left completely abandoned. Vandalism and decay had its way with the Chateau Miranda for 26 years, leaving the structure decrepit and on the verge of collapse before it was finally torn down on October of 2017. Number 10. Principo Greek Orphanage. The largest wooden building in all of Europe sits quietly on the Turkish island of Büyükada. It measures over 215,000 square feet and has gone unoccupied and undisturbed for over 55 years. Once a luxurious hotel and casino, for which it was designed in 1898, the property was purchased by the wife of a Greek banker when the proper permits couldn't be obtained to run it for its intended purpose. She then donated the building to the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople, and it was henceforth known as the Principo Greek Orphanage. It operated for more than 6 decades, assisting with the needs of nearly 5,800 orphans while open. Efforts have been made in recent years to preserve the historic structure as it currently ranks among the most endangered cultural heritage sites in the world. Number 9. Canfranc Station. This massive train station, set in the Pyrenees Mountains along the borders of Spain and France, was once an intricate tool in commerce between the two nations. Equipped with large 220-yard-long platforms, this location acted as a hub for transferring cargo, as the trains of France weren't compatible with the railways of Spain, and vice versa. But a derailment in 1970 destroyed a crucial bridge on the French side of the mountain range, permanently putting the stations out of commission as French trains could no longer make the journey. The nearby village of Canfranc dropped with the loss in railway traffic, and the grandiose station, which measured 790 feet long and features 156 doors and 365 windows, was abandoned indefinitely despite being the second largest train station in Europe. Entry to Canfranc Station is limited in modern times, with tours being offered briefly during summer months. Number 8. Varosha. The small Mediterranean island nation of Cyprus is home to many historical architectural relics, with evidence of human activity on the island dating back to the 10th millennium BC. but the most recent remnants of past civilizations can be found in the southern quarter of the city of Famagusta. Called Varosha, this district was a modern tourism haven, ranking among the most popular in the world, until 1974 when the country underwent an invasion from Turkey. The 39,000 people from Varosha fled in fear of the upcoming combat, and the sector remains deserted today. Heavily looted and slowly decaying, the concrete coastal developments of the area stand hauntingly desolate, as entrance is still barred to the public. However, in the summer of 2019, plans have begun to reopen Varosha once more in the coming years. Number 7. Ballestrino. A quiet Italian village among green-coated hills with a gorgeous view of the ocean may seem like the ideal place to live, but in 1953 the people of Ballestrino deserted their medieval town suddenly. Though the town-like commune is believed to have been inhabited since at least the 11th century, a string of earthquakes throughout the 19th and 20th centuries caused the locals to relocate. Ballestrino was declared hydrogeologically unstable, and a second town of the same name was erected shortly after its abandonment. Today, the old ghost town above it withers away, completely fenced off to the outside world. However, there are plenty of hiking opportunities nearby with plenty of unique vantage points of old Ballestrino's castle and churches for those interested parties not willing to take no for an answer. Number 6. Petite Ceinture. Encircling the city of Paris is La Petite Ceinture, an urban railway that has been inactive since 1934. This was the first Parisian metro-like transportation open to the public, after switching from its initial purpose as a freight line. But after the Paris Metro appeared in 1900, the Petite Ceinture started to receive less and less use until it finally ceased service. As the decades passed, the railway would become overgrown, creating its own unique ecosystem, with more than 200 species of plants and animals calling it home. Exploring these train tracks will reveal a vibrant collaboration of nature and urban art, as colorful flowers adorn graffiti murals just out of sight from the bustling streets of Paris. This makes the Petite Ceinture a popular stop for urban explorers, as much of the railway remains open to the public. Number 5. Kirby Hall. In 1570, the Lord Chancellor to Queen Elizabeth I, Sir Christopher Hatton, commissioned the construction of the massive regal Kirby Hall. Following the trends of other wealthy noblemen of the time, the palace-like structure was a prime example of the era's prodigy houses. This great hall was elaborate in its design, drawing on the styles of French architecture for inspiration. But since being erected, Kirby Hall has fallen into disrepair. The large mansion is partially roofless, and much of the construction seems to be on the verge of collapse. However, a large portion of the hall is still very usable, thanks to the restoration efforts by the charity English Heritage. Many of the rooms have been renovated to reflect both 17th and 18th century decor, while the gardens and the various statues and urns that occupy them have been restored. Number 4. Bran Castle. Known to many as the home of the mythical Count Dracula, Bran Castle eerily emerges from the Transylvanian portion of the Kalamani Alps. But this great Romanian fortress most likely never housed the nefarious vampire, as all connections it has to the legendary Bram Stoker novel are flimsy at best. This region of Romania was once home to the Wallachian prince Vlad Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler. He is often thought to have been the model for the infamous vampire due to his location and name. But evidence of such direct influence on the horror novel is scarce, and historians largely agree he likely never entered Bran Castle, let alone lived there. Still, rumors have persisted over the years, and the castle is still a popular tourist attraction today. Number 3. Tunnel of Love. Railroads often evoke the imagery of steam, metal, and the industrial age, but Ukraine's Tunnel of Love is a much more romantic spin on the classic train track aesthetic. Connecting the town of Kleven with the village of Orziv, this portion of railroad measures 3.1 miles in length and is surrounded by lush foliage, smoothly carved into a tunnel from the passing of industrial freight trains. This has created one of the most serene locations in all of Ukraine, drawing visitors year-round, especially couples and newlyweds eager to use it as their backdrop to a photo shoot. But be careful visiting this magical yet vacant location, as trains do still use this track, and accidents involving pedestrians do still happen from time to time. Number 2. Rescenzi. In northern Italy, a large man-made lake sits at an altitude of 4,915 feet above sea level among the Alps. Though located in the western part of Tyrol, the Rescenzi, or Lake Rescenzi as it is known, is a popular tourist spot among Austrian and Swiss visitors, given its close vicinity to both nations' borders. But the clear, calm, and chilling waters of this 2.5 square mile lake aren't the only thing of interest to the public. Beneath the surface of Rescenzi are the remains of the village of Grawin, a township which was submerged during the completion of the lake. A total of 163 homes and other related buildings were flooded as a means of connecting two smaller natural lakes. The The most prominent evidence of the underwater village is the steeple of a 14th century church which still rises above the lake's surface. Despite having its bells removed in 1950, local legends tell of bells being heard from the steeple in the midst of the water, when visitors can actually walk across the frozen lake and see the architectural relic up close. Number 1. Teufelsberg. Following the Second Global Conflict of the 20th century, Germany sought to demolish a military technical college left over from the previous regime. But due to its sturdiness, the German government opted to turn it into a rubble disposal site instead, birthing the man-made hill known as Teufelsberg. Atop this hill is the Field Station Berlin, a massive listening station that was once occupied by the United States National Security Agency, but has since been abandoned. In modern times, the strange, tall structure has become blanketed in murals and graffiti by street artists, and can be accessed by the public for a small fee.